I'm 3.5 months into taking YouTube seriously, and I've taken a crash course from other YouTubers on how to be successful as a YouTuber. And in this video, I'm going to dive into the tips and advice I've gotten from other YouTubers on how to be successful as a YouTuber by sharing clips from their videos, the things that resonated with me, the tips that stuck with me as insights to keep and share with you in this video. So this is a collection of the tips that I found most useful. This first clip comes from Modern Millie. She talks about value pillars.
We're going to add in something called value pillars. Something that we hear a lot when watching educational videos for like how to grow on Instagram, how to grow on blah, blah, blah. Educators are always like, provide value, teach value, value this, give value to your audience. I say it all the time too. I'm not making fun. I say it. And the thing is, value is subjective to the viewer. But what we do know is that there are 4 main value pillars or way to provide value online. We have educational, entertaining, relatable, and inspirational. So some people view educational videos as valuable. Some people view entertaining videos that maybe just make them laugh or stay engaged as value to them. Others like the relatability aspect, and others find inspiration to be valuable.
So I found, in terms of like trying to figure out what types of content to create, I found those 4 pillars super helpful. It's a general framework to work from as you plan out the type of content you want to create and publish. This next video comes from a channel called The Unretirees. It's a couple that shares about their retired life and living abroad. And they have some videos on how they've gone about monetizing their YouTube channel and becoming successful. I'm going to share a clip from their video. We monetized our YouTube channel in 78 days, over 50 YouTubers.
And for us, the thing that we wanted to see was we wanted each video to hit 1,000 views. And ideally, we were hoping that each video would hit 1,000 views in 7 days after publication. But look, if it hit 1,000 views within this 90-day period, we were going to count it as a win.
Now, this was a ridiculously ambitious goal, especially as first-time YouTubers. However, it really forced us to ask some questions. So, for example, we would ask every week, what is it that we need to do to get 1,000 views on this video? What's the topic that we need? What is the thumbnail that we need? What's the title? What's the description? All of that. We continually asked ourselves every week, what would it take in order for us to hit 1,000 views on this video when we were still very new and nobody knew who we were?
So we relied heavily on TubeBuddy and competitive research, but we also had 2 other sources that we used in order to generate topic ideas for us. First, frankly, it was our own intuition and experience. I mean, we had recently moved, or last year we moved from the United States to Portugal, but we had been researching this move for a few years. And, you know, we had watched a lot of YouTube videos, done a lot of research. And even though we watched a lot of videos, we still had a difficult time finding answers to certain questions. Like,
one of the things that I've learned about YouTube from a variety of YouTubers, and this is one of them, is that when it comes to the YouTube success, it comes first and foremost to the idea of the video. What's the actual value? And then the second piece of that is the packaging to present that value, to connect the audience to that value so that they're willing to watch the video. And so that packaging is the title, it's the thumbnail, it's the first 20, 30 seconds of the video itself. That's the hook. What was provoking about this particular clip was just how much research they put into really figuring out the idea and the way to package that idea to get the most success. And I think the other thing that they do here that's super powerful is they put their mindset into how do we get the video to a certain level of success? How do we get 1,000 views for this video? And that type of thinking is great because it gets us to start thinking about what are ways that I can tap into to get more views on my video. I'll give you just a quick example. This is something that I just did on my YouTube channel, this type of thinking and what it led me to. I've got these videos, you know, once YouTube does its push and then it kind of flatlines after that, how do I get more views? And there's ways to promote videos, you know, externally outside of YouTube, but what are the tools that YouTube has itself that allows you to promote videos? And so I came up with a clever way to leverage YouTube and its tools to promote my videos on my channel. Today, I published this video. It's right here. And you'll notice it's just a really simple short video. The last 20 seconds, I made a short video with end cards, and essentially the video is an end cards video. So unfortunately, end cards, they can only be placed in a 20-second window of the end of the video. I made this quick little video to promote 4 of my other videos. I don't know if this is going to work, but this is the type of thinking that the Unretirees is encouraging, is like, how do you do it? And then what are all the creative ways you can think of to make it happen? And this next video, this comes from Think Media. I'm not going to play any particular clip. I'm just going to let it play in the background. The name of the video is How to Revive a Dead YouTube Video and Trigger Massive Views. The takeaway for me in this video is that you can use a new video to send traffic to an old video. You can do this with end cards. You can do this with normal cards throughout the video. You can just talk about the video. You can put the video link in the description. You can use a new video to trigger interest and drive traffic to an older video. I thought that was an interesting takeaway. Again, these are ideas that if you've been YouTubing for long enough, some of them you might come up with on your own, or you just watch enough YouTubers and you discover these. But this was something that I hadn't considered until I saw this video several months ago. This next video comes from Gabrielle Nunez. And the video is This Got Me Monetized on YouTube with 2 videos. YouTube growth.
I watched a YouTuber say how he managed to rank in the For You page of YouTube, basically the homepage. And what he did is that he used a very highly searched keyword, even though it had high competition, and he used that keyword at the beginning of the title. And so that's what I did. I grabbed my very highly searched keyword, which is Amazon KDP, and I placed it at the beginning of the video. And after that first keyword, then I placed the secondary keywords. So for the title, I discovered the proper way to place the keywords, which, by the way, my discovery on Amazon KDP is what inspired me to try it on YouTube too, where the most search keyword goes in the beginning and the rest has secondary keywords or sparks curiosity and creates an emotional connection.
My background is in blogging, podcasting, SEO. And so when you're doing SEO on a web page, if you update the title tag and you put the keyword in that title tag, particularly the earlier the better, and the more important ones at the beginning and then the secondary ones throughout it. So it's cool to see that with YouTube, that can work the same way. So the title has a large weight that YouTube gives it in terms of how it's indexing it and promoting the video. And so including those key phrases at the beginning. Now, with the algorithm and the browsing features, that has changed a bit over the years, but it still seems to be a solid strategy for getting more views. So thank you, Gabrielle Nunez, for sharing that tidbit. This next video comes from Catherine Manning. Her video 0 to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, YouTube tips that help to grow my beginner YouTube channel. The particular advice she gives has to do with capitalization. Here's what she says.
You have 100 characters to include in your title. And this is something that I actually kind of picked up from Sarah's day. When you take a look at her YouTube videos, she includes so many freaking keywords in her title. And I mean, it works. She's a successful YouTuber. So what I started doing was including more keywords in my title. But more than that, I also started using more caps lock. Okay, when I first got started on YouTube, I was like, I'm not going to be one of those YouTubers that makes their title of every video all capital letters. Well, I realized that based off of looking at my analytics, as well as just doing normal searches to see what other people were doing, when you include your words in all caps, it tends to grab your audience's attention and they're more likely to click on it. So now all of my YouTube videos, or most of my YouTube videos, start with something in all caps. And that's really going to be the main topic of the YouTube video, and hopefully something that someone is going to want to click on to watch that YouTube video. So one of the more recent YouTube videos that I launched was sharing the things that I did differently, or the things that I did that actually grew my blog. But what I started that YouTube video title out as is grow your following online. That is really like the main kicker. Whenever someone wants to grow their following online, hopefully they're going to click on that, compared to if they see what I did differently to grow my blog, they may not be that interested in it. So yes, I start out with that click-worthy introduction to the title that is in all caps, and then I will include more keywords and go into detail about what I'm really going to talk about in that video.
Caps, I just hadn't even considered that idea to use capital letters, capital words in my titles. I started thinking about how can I do that strategically? What words in the title can I use to make that word stand out, and just use it as another tool in the titling tool set. I'm not always using capitals, but a lot of times I'll use it strategically. And so in this recent video, why you should not start a YouTube even if everyone watches, it's a comedy video, go check it out. I put not and everyone in caps. So just a way for me to make that stand out. What I'm trying to get a word to really stand out or a phrase, putting it in caps is just a great way to do it since we don't have any formatting options. Now, speaking of titles, I want to share another video that talks about using conversational framing or phrases for your title, which is a different approach. And sometimes it might be better to do one of the approaches that I've talked about, or it might be better to do a conversational approach or some hybrid of the two. This tip comes from Erin Lodge, and Erin Lodge her video is 0 to 1,000 subscribers in 8 days, YouTube tips that help to grow my beginner YouTube channel. So here's what she says.
The title is what influences the algorithm, which brings us to step number 5. Create conversational titles. You want your title to look and sound like something you would say in conversation to someone, something relatable, not Amazon or Etsy listings. These are just a few of the videos I've seen blowing up lately, and the title of these videos don't look like they're optimized for search. They just look like a piece of a conversation. The viewer will look and immediately feel like they relate to the content before they even click. If you've ever seen a video and the title and thumbnail felt like it was speaking directly to you or calling you out, that's exactly what I mean. It has to look like an invite for the viewer to join the conversation. And search is still a great way to get views, but it's looking like browsing on the homepage is how people are going viral nowadays. I had to learn this real quick. If you've seen my viral video and you saw the part where I talked about editing, this right here, that was my original title. And I got a couple hundred views and 2 or 3 subscribers in the first couple of days. But I decided to change the title and the thumbnail. And on the 3rd day, the video took off.
Like she said, use conversational titles to get traction through the algorithm, through the homepage recommendations. And figuring out a balance of when to do one or the other, depending on what you're trying to accomplish with that particular video and what the idea is and what's the best way to package it. An experiment. And like she does, you can change it. If your approach doesn't work, try the other one. All right, in this next video, this is a couple tips from Frankie with 2 eyes, and she shares about how to evoke curiosity in the title and also how to make that thumbnail stick out or evoke that same type of interest from the viewer. So let's jump in.
The viewer decides they are going to give you their time. That translates into watch time. And what does watch time do? It tells YouTube that your video is valuable and it's going to push it out because YouTube wants to keep people on their platform watching things on their platform. Another thing that is also as important as the thumbnail is the title. In my opinion, what works these days is a title with a curiosity gap. A title with a curiosity gap and a value proposition. Is there something that will pique the viewer's interest in the title? Is there a result that the viewer might want to achieve in your title? Like you clicked on this video because you want to get your YouTube video seen. That is the result that you are seeking. Just like how to have unshakable confidence, a title with a result in it. But also a title with a curiosity gap, I think works so good these days. For example, if you're making a vlog and you're a nursing student, don't put like, day in my life as a nursing student. Reframe it to something like, this is what happened. I can't believe this happened today at nursing school. You know, like something like that. It creates a curiosity gap in the viewer's mind and they want to click it because they're like, what happened? You know, I think.
All right, so that was her talking about the title. Let's get her insight on thumbnails.
That I like to personally do because a lot of the times thumbnails are going to be very small, and are they still going to stand out when they're really tiny? A thumbnail doesn't have to be aesthetic. It just has to stick out and get clicked on. Or if you are going to use text, make sure it's legible on a very small scale. Make sure it doesn't blend in with the background too much. Make sure your font isn't too thin and tiny. It doesn't really need to be overthought. Just like, would you click on that video? Is the best question to ask yourself when you're making a thumbnail.
Would you click on that video? And when you get to the end of a video and it shows all these thumbnails, just take a moment and look at the thumbnails. Which of these stands out? You know, sometimes you want a thumbnail that looks different just to get someone to notice it in this particular environment. On the homepage, it's going to be a little different because they're not so close together. But these ones, you know, which of these ones do your eyes go towards? And start to think about that and create thumbnails that stand out. This next tip comes, again, it's about titles. Titles are super important. But this one comes from Live Video School. The video is the one YouTube strategy I wish I knew earlier.
But if we don't put our niche in the title, the algorithm doesn't know who to go find. All right. And so that's why we want to do that.
That was another just helpful reminder. Like, okay, that's something to keep in mind, is putting the niche in the title, maybe perhaps the thumbnail, perhaps the description, as many places as you can to try and reach that audience, giving the signals, and then also talking about it in the video as well, as many times as you possibly can, and is relevant and organic and ties into the value itself. This next video comes from Virginia Kerr. Her video is titled How to Make Thumbnails to Get Even More Views. So she's going to have some insights on how to make effective thumbnails. So let's jump in.
Thumbnail, I want to evoke some kind of emotion, and I'm not going to use the exact same words that I use in the title in my thumbnail. And you can look at some of these examples and you'll see exactly what I mean. I want people to know that they're going to get something that they really want out of that thumbnail, or they're going to avoid something they really don't want when they see that thumbnail. So I'm very intentional with the words I put on my thumbnail. In fact, I know what my thumbnail is going to say before I ever hit record on any video.
Letting the thumbnail complement the title and doing it in a way that establishes an expectation of what they're going to get in the video. And then when they watch the video, that beginning of the video should connect the dots, and hopefully that'll hook them in, bring them in, and keep them watching your video. This next video comes from Creator Inside, the YouTube channel that speaks to creators. And this particular video clip is really helpful insight that was for me when I'm thinking about creating for YouTube. And I think it'll be for you as well. So let's jump in.
What is discovery? How does the recommendation system actually work?
So the first thing that creators should understand is that the recommendation systems are really centered around each individual viewer. Okay. So oftentimes creators will say, hey, the recommendation system is pushing out my video to people.
Or why isn't it pushing out my video to people?
they may ask that. And the way it works is it isn't so much about pushing it out as much as it's pulling for each viewer. So when you open the homepage, YouTube is going to say, hey, Renee's here. We need to give Renee the best content that is going to make Renee happy today. It's very much centered around each individual person and ranking the videos for them, as opposed to looking at each individual video and trying to figure out who might like it.
That's just a great insight to think about. It's the YouTube algorithm is viewer centric. When the viewer wants to watch something, the system, YouTube, wants to find the best video, the best next video for that person. And so it's going to have a collection, an archive of things that it's collected for that person based on all the factors, so that when that person is ready to watch the next video or the next set of videos, they have a variety of options to choose from that are the most likely videos or the most satisfying videos for them. I thought that was a really powerful insight, because as creators, we can often be thinking about ourselves and how the system is revolving around us when it's actually revolving around the viewer. And we're just helping to show up when the viewer wants to see the things that we create. This next YouTube video comes from Shawpreneur, and his video is How I Gained 2 Million Followers in 304 Days, 7 Lessons. And so he had a really interesting insight about short form content that I think is worth hearing and pocketing in your mental filing cabinet.
Okay, so value in short form content is dead, and you have to incorporate entertaining aspects into your video. Okay, and I'm not saying to do like dances or skits or do funny content. I'm saying it needs to be more entertaining in nature, because that's why people come on social media. Okay, so whether that is, people getting a dopamine kick from seeing your lifestyle, from seeing a much more engaging, visually impressive video, whether that be you are much more active in the video, moving around and being creative with your shots. This is the content that performs so much better. And we noticed that when we were posting content for this client to get up to 2 million followers, is that when we were posting our strict value content, our reach was essentially limited. And once we started implementing more dynamic elements inside the content, much more visually appealing, that's when we started to go crazy viral and grow much more fastly.
So that's something to keep in mind when you're talking about reels, shorts, short form content, is make it engaging, make it exciting, make it visually appealing, and that might get you a lot more traction when it comes to shorts. I've been experimenting with shorts, and I have a lot of educational content, so I've got to figure out how to bridge that educational content into the reel space so that I can do it in a way that gets a lot more views than I'm getting now, and hopefully at some point be able to translate that into wide format, long format video views. This next video comes from vidIQ, and this particular video, what stuck out to me was the idea of being very specific. The more specific that we can get, the more specific that you can get, the more we can grasp or catch someone's attention. So when we talk about something generically or generally speaking, they might not be interested. It kind of comes in and out. But if you get really specific and you're talking to them specifically, all of a sudden they stop in their tracks and they engage. So let's look at what vidIQ has to say. In this video, it's titled, I've Never Seen a Faster Way to Get Monetized.
The first technique I found is specificity. It's really just when you get super specific in your titles. So instead of just saying, here's the fastest way to make 10 grand per month, he used specifics like 3,000 to 5,000 and into your bank account. The second reason this title is so powerful is because he promises something that his audience desperately wants in a short period of time. This is a powerful way to make your titles more clickable because it adds a sense of urgency. Just imagine if his title said, how to make $3,000 to $5,000 online. Pretty boring, right? But by adding fastest and into your bank account ASAP, it adds a whole new level of curiosity that makes you want to click. So if you want to get more views on your videos, I challenge you to test both these strategies on your title.
Getting specific. You can even add, like, get even more specific, like you need $3,000 today or in the next 5 days. I saw one video on YouTube. It's like, I needed to get monetized in 30 days. And here's what I did. If you're in that same situation and that's speaking to you, then you're going to watch that video because that's what you need right now. This next video comes from Annie Empty Studio. It's her video, How Small Channels Are Actually Blowing Up in 2025. So let's go ahead and jump in. She's going to talk about the importance of the idea itself in your YouTube video. Let's jump in.
Now let's dive into the mystery of why some videos blow up while others don't. Number one is topic selection. That is literally 80% of the game. Your video can have the best editing, but if no one cares about the topic, they won't be curious enough to actually click into it, and they're not going to watch it and it won't perform. So what is the secret? Well, I have figured out after posting 20, 30 videos now, you got to tap into trending topics. Mr. Beast's Squid Game video got over 450 million views, I think, by tapping into the virality of the show at the time. And you probably know MKBHD, all of his tech review videos, they do so well because they feature the latest gadgets, such as all the new Apple releases. And if you go to my channel and you go to most popular, all the top performers are actually Mac unboxings, tech reviews, and now in hindsight, I can see that it was not a coincidence.
Topic selection is huge. Maybe you have a bad idea or you just have a great idea, but nobody wants to see it. You're not going to get a lot of traction. So you got to mix it up. If you do like to do those videos that don't get as much traction, make sure you mix it in with trending topics so you can get some movement and towards your monetization and have some success. So the next two videos I want to share with you are about ending your videos. So the first one comes from Trina Little, YouTube coach, what you should say in your first YouTube video. So let's dive in.
Finish delivering all your amazing content and you're ready to finish your video, you really want to avoid telling people your video is over. I'm going to tell you why here in just a second, but you want to avoid things like in summary or in conclusion or that's it, because what you want to do then is transition them to watch another video of yours. Now you might be thinking, hold up, Trina, just wait, I don't even have another video. I got a game plan for you. Now, the reason you want to do this is because YouTube is going to promote videos that get people to watch more content, right? More watch time is valuable to YouTube. So if your video then gets people to watch another video, that's valuable to YouTube. So don't just try to end the session time. Tell them exactly what video you want to watch next. Now think about it. If you're going to publish your first video, you're probably going to publish new videos weekly. So in your very first video, you could tell people to watch what video is coming next. But here's a little secret. Just deliver your lines like that video is already live. So let's say next week, I'm going to release a video on how to create a channel banner. It's not live yet, but I know it will be next week. So I can actually add that video next week and it's not really going to hinder your channel, especially if you're just getting started. So I could end this video saying, now watch how to create your own channel banner to make sure people are wanting to subscribe to your channel. It's on your screen right now. Click it and I'll show you exactly how to do that. You don't have that video yet. You could on your video have a space holder that says coming next week. Then when you release that video, you can just go back to that first video and add that clickable end screen over that text and nobody will know after that first week. This allows you to set up that first video for success. That allows you to set up that first video to get people to watch another video and another video from you.
That's the first one, and I'll go ahead and jump right into the next one, which is from Nate Black.
We have it. The mistakes. The mistakes I see a lot of people making with their video endings and end screens in general. 1, giving people too much forewarning that the end of video is arriving. If you do this, I will hunt you down, reach through the screen, and smack you upside the face a bit. I have mentioned this before, but I need to say it again. Don't make people be polite at the end of your video. How often have you been on the phone with someone and it comes to the part of the conversation where you know you gotta end that conversation and it turns into a, hey, thanks so much for chatting. Yeah, it's so great catching up. Oh yeah, you're awesome. See you later. Talk to you next time. Goodbye. All right, thank you so much. Just don't make people have to do that with your videos, because the reality is most people are just not going to, and your retention will go down. The dedicated core audience on your channel are going to stick around, but for most people, don't make them have to be polite. The rule of thumb I have seen is 10 seconds or less. If you can go from full-fledged content of the video to ending of the video, and then the video actually cuts off and ends, if you can end that video in 10 seconds or less, you should be in a good space.
When it comes to your video, make sure you're providing value all the way to the end. If you found value in all of these videos, I'm going to go ahead and include every single one of them as a link in the description so you can go check out the full video for each one of those. And if you're interested in hearing the insights and tidbits that I've discovered as a YouTuber, I've made a series of YouTube videos on how to succeed as a YouTuber, what's helped me grow my channel. I had 68 YouTube subscribers in December, and now in April I'm at 235. So I'm making progress. I'm moving towards my watch hours, and I'm moving towards monetization, and I've learned some things along the way. And so if you'd like to hear those, I've got a playlist for you right here. Check it out, and you can check out the various videos that I've put together on how to succeed as a YouTuber. I'm Jason Scott Matoya, and thank you for watching.